All right, so let's see now that how we can pass in a list and display a list of information. So I'm going to remove this hello name and all that stuff. And I have to display some sort of a list over here. So if I go to my app.js, we don't even have a list. We're simply passing an object which contains one property called name. So let's see if I can actually create a list. I'm going to go ahead and create a array called trips. It's an array which has some objects. This is one object. And that object has a property called title. And the title is just Costa Rica. Now the second object, the title is whatever, Boston. And the third object, and the title is whatever, San Francisco. There we go. All right. So it's an array, and this array contains 1, 2, and 3 objects, and each object has a property called title, which is set to different places. Great. Now I need to display that information in my index page, which is this particular page. All right. So I need to pass this trips, which is an array, to this particular page. So how would I do that? Well, I will pass as an object. This is what I'm about to type is just the name of the property. This is completely up to me what I type in. So I can type in over here cat or cats. And the second argument can be trips. So make sure you name this property, which you have to, anything but something that is descriptive and that actually makes sense. So I can actually go ahead and call this trip list. Now that's fine. I can also call it trips. So don't get confused with, okay, hold on, this is trips and this is trips, it's confusing. Well, this is the name of the key or the property, and this is the value which is coming from this. This is completely up to you what you call it, and this one is coming from line number 15, which is right over here. So the value, basically, if I write something like this, what will happen in the end? This will happen in the end. The value of trips will be injected right over here. So I'm going to call it trips. Okay. So now let's go to index file and see if we can get access to these things. So let's go to index. And Mustache has a special syntax for iterating over an array. Basically, you start with a hash sign, and then you start with the name of the key or the property name or the key name, which I'm using trips, which is this one, not this one, this one. This is your key. If I set cats over here, C-A-T-S, then over here I'm also going to use cats. But obviously cats doesn't really make any sense because we are actually talking about trips. So I'm going to call it trips. So I'm going to call this trips. So this is the starting point of the loop. Start of the loop. And where the loop will end would be represented by a backslash and then the same particular, basically the same key that we are using. So this is the end of the loop. End of the loop. Anything in between, you can get access to the objects inside the trips array. All right. So what is inside the trip array? Well, these are just objects inside the trip array. And each object has a property called title. So we can simply call the name or the property name, which is title. Now, I know it's a little bit different. If you were running a loop in JavaScript, you would have said something called trip.title. I know it's not like that when you are using a Mustache. You already have the object at hand at this particular position on line 6, 7, and 8. So you just say the property name that you want, it will be injected over there. All right. Let's go ahead and restart our server since we have modified the Mustache file, and let's go ahead and refresh it. Okay, so it definitely does display the Costa Rica, Boston, and San Francisco. But I don't really want it to display horizontally like that. I want it to display vertically, like in a list. And the beauty of using Mustache is that now you can go ahead and type in whatever HTML you need. So I'm going to go ahead and say I need a UL over here, and I need a UL over here. So inside the UL, this loop is going to run, and each time this title is going to get injected. So most probably you need some sort of a li over here. In the end, what's going to happen is that the number of times this loop is going to run, it's going to create an li and inject the value of the title. So this will be Costa Rica, Boston, and San Francisco. So 3 LIs will be created, and 3 LIs will be created between the UL. Let's go ahead and refresh it. Obviously, I have to go ahead and restart the server and refresh it, and there we go. All right. Okay, so now you know that how to display the title. Here's an activity for you to do. Right now, it's just displaying a title, which is Costa Rica, Boston, or San Francisco. What I really want to do is I want to display an image right here, and right here. So along with all of these trips or locations, I want to display an image over here. So apart from the title property, you should also have a URL or image or photo URL property or URL property, whatever property. It will be a URL to an image. All right. So how would you display these list of 3 locations, but also an image associated with each location? How would you do that?